young republic, the problem was basic: gunpowder and small arms. By the 1790 seconds, the federal government had already begun opening armories and contracting private manufacturers. Names like Colt and Remington would later anchor a growing military-industrial base. Production jumped again during the Civil War. By World War II, American factories were operating at unprecedented scale, supplying vehicles, aircraft, ships, and munitions to allies across the globe. So where does that leave us? The United States now faces competing priorities: maintaining global influence, sustaining a vast defense industrial base, and meeting growing concerns about human rights and proliferation. History shows weapons sales can cement alliances, but they can also produce blowback when regimes change, when weapons are diverted, or when civilian harm follows. The core question is as old as the industry itself. Can a nation balance commercial interests, strategic partnerships, and moral responsibilities? Or will short-term deals repeat historic mistakes? During the Cold War, arms transfers became an instrument to secure allies without committing U.S. ground forces everywhere. The U.S. often preferred selling hardware and the training and logistics that come with it to friendly governments as a means of projecting influence while minimizing direct intervention. In modern times, the market advantage only widened. The war in Ukraine and shifting global threats pushed many countries to buy more weapons. Europe's imports have surged. Ukraine became the world's biggest arms importer in 2020-24, and U.S. shipments to Europe have multiplied as NATO rebuilds stockpiles. The net effect: a larger U.S. share of a rapidly growing market. How did the U.S. build that dominance? The story begins not with a single policy, but with centuries of industrial growth, wartime scale-up, and a foreign policy that treats arms sales as a tool of influence. In May 2025, the U.S. announced what was described as its largest ever defense cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia, packages and contracts across air defense, maritime, and support systems valued in the order of $100, $142 billion, depending on reporting and the scope of the package. A deal that underscores the commercial and strategic calculus behind major arms agreements. At the same time, the U.S. keeps using a mix of channels: direct government to government, foreign military sales, which bundle hardware, training and sustainment, commercial sales, and military aid. For trusted partners like Israel, the U.S. provides long-term assistance. Israel has received hundreds of billions in U.S. military aid since World War II, often tied to purchases of American systems. That industrial base produced more than weapons. It created a supply chain and corporate ecosystem able to deliver advanced systems at scale. After 194-5, the United States emerged largely unscathed industrially, while many rivals lay in ruin. That structural advantage converted easily into geopolitical leverage. Technological change makes the stakes higher. Autonomous systems, long-range precision, hypersonics, and drones spread quickly. They become force multipliers, and proliferating them raises new risks for escalation and civilian harm. Why do these big deals matter beyond profit? First, they shape regional balances of power: who can project force and who can defend territory. Second, they're politically controversial. Transfers to countries with active conflicts or poor human rights records raise legal and ethical questions. The Arms Trade Treaty was meant to regulate this trade, but the U.S. never ratified it, and the Trump administration formally moved to withdraw U.S. support. In 2019, a decision that changed Washington's posture on export oversight. But arms sales are political and risky. History is full of deals that backfired. In the 1,980 seconds, covert programs that supplied weapons to anti-Soviet fighters sometimes redirected weapons into other hands. The Iran-Contra scandal is the clearest U.S. example of how arms policy and covert operations can produce a major political scandal. The American Presidency Project. America exports more weapons than any other country, and by a wide margin. Between 2020 to 2024, the United States accounted for roughly 43% of global major arms exports, a share larger than the next several exporters combined.